Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why and how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio, man. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me your ears. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I know you're familiar with, and that's laziness and boredom. Ooh, that hurts. Almost like you don't want to touch that topic. It's like a third rail when you're going down the actual train, right? It's on the third rail. You don't want to touch that one. That's the dangerous one. But more specifically, let's talk about boredom. That's where I want to focus in. I want to focus on the word boredom because I think boredom is the biggest hindrance to your success. Let me tie these together. Boredom is the biggest, not kind of, not sort of, not a lot, the biggest hindrance towards your success. How so? Let's back up. For you to be great at anything, you have to learn certain skill sets. You have to practice. You have to get good. And you only get good by doing. You only do every day. You have to kind of go in there and do your thing. For example, if you wanted to become ripped, right? You just want to get the muscles, you want to reduce the body fat, you have to go into the gym. And you have to work out. And you have to have a routine. And you have to eat right. It's a combination of things you need to do in order for you to achieve that vision that you have in your head. And it's not just about lifting weights, it's also about how you eat. It's also about maybe even sleep, maybe nutrition more deep. Now, all these things add up. All these things, again, are the aggregate of what you need to do to be that person that you envision. Now imagine that you're going into the gym. And what happens? You do it for a week, you do it for 2 weeks, maybe you do it for 3 weeks, but then you start to get bored, right? You see some results, but still, it's boring. You're doing the same thing, right? And you try to switch it up a little bit, but in the end, it's still boring. Right? You get boring, and I think you lose your motivation because it seems boring. When you're doing the same things over and over again, it gets boring. Now think about this. Any athlete gets to the point where what they're doing is simply boring. Okay, I'm going to go practice free throw shots. We'll do 100 of those in a row, and you do this for a month, 2 months, 3 months. It gets boring. Most of this stuff gets boring. But here's the secret. That the successful people always push through the boredom and still produce. This is important because what happens to our brain is that when we get bored, we're looking always for something else to do. We always get distracted very easily because we're open to being distracted. When you're bored, you're looking for some type of distraction to actually relieve that boredom. You're looking for novelty. And novelty is a way of distracting us from doing what we need to be doing. So what is it that you do every day that you know you need to be doing, but you get bored and then you stop doing it? And you stop doing it and you rationalize it, right? You rationalize it to yourself. You say, well, this is just getting old. I'm already real good at this. I don't need to keep doing this. I need to find something that fulfills me. I need to find something that I'm more passionate about. And what happens over time, you just flit from one thing to another. You go from doing this, you get bored, you go to doing that. You get bored with that, you go to something else. And we bounce all over the place. And because we're bored, we never stay focused on what we need to do. Now think about what happens when you do stay in, I'll call it the pipe. The pipe, I mean you stay in the zone. Even if you're bored, you know that you have to keep putting in the time. Because as we all know, success is a cumulative process. It is a cumulative process in the sense that it adds over time. And every day you put in a little more time, you get that much better. And initially you don't notice that you're getting better, but it takes time. And over time, only when you look back, let's say a year from now, you go, man, I've really come a long way. But when you're in it, When you're doing it every day, it doesn't feel that way. It feels boring. It feels like, I'm wasting my time. I'm not getting anywhere. Or it's so boring. I wish I can do something else because I can't do this anymore. But again, the successful people push through the boredom. They put in the time. They continue to put in the time because in their mind, they have this sense of clarity of where they want to go. And they know where they want to go requires them to do what most people aren't willing to do, which is the boring stuff, right? If you're a writer, you get tired of writing. You sit down, you got to write something, you do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3, it gets boring. But if in your mind you have that clarity of what you want, what is the end result you want? I want a book. Then you know that you have to do the boring stuff. You have to sit down and write every day. If you're doing a podcast like this one, right? I have to tell myself, what else can I talk about? What else can I explore? What else can I explain? Now, in my mind, I think I have enough information on sales to sell what I need to sell. But I'm always asking myself, what else can I learn? Because the clarity for me, the vision down the road for me is, how do I create a body of work? In other words, how do I create content that is so valuable in sales that when I'm gone, people will look back and go, man, that was some great content that dude delivered, right? So that's what drives me. To me, it's not about legacy. I hate that word. To me, it's about leaving a body of work that people say, wow, that's a lot of great content that guy produced. That keeps me going forward. Does that mean that every time I do a podcast, it's exciting? No, because sometimes I don't even want to talk about it. Right now, I may be in the mode where I don't want to talk about this, but that's not the point. The point is that I still do what I have to do because I know my long-term goal is to leave a body of work. And I know that although talking about the same subject in different ways on selling can get boring, I always try to find a way to make it not boring. Now think about what you want to do. Think about something you've been wanting to do. And has that happened to you where you started doing something and then because you did it over and over again, it got boring? And because it got boring, your brain said, we should do something else. This is boring. And all of a sudden, your brain took you off in a different direction and you got to reset and start again. The best of the best know you got to push through the boredom. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the effort. You got to do, again, things that most people won't do, which is what will differentiate you in the long run from everybody else. Success is a cumulative process. Push through the boredom. That's what's holding you back sometimes. Forget about novelty all the time because our brain is like a drug. Dopamine is like a drug. When something changes, something's new, we get that shot of dopamine in our heads, like cocaine to the head, and we love that. We become addicted to that. In this society, we're addicted to change, novelty, something different. But keep in mind that in order to achieve mastery, you have to put in those 10,000 hours. You have to push through the boredom. And again, what will pull you into the future to where you want to go is being clear on what it is you want as the outcome. Once the outcome is clear, you will be pulled, almost like somebody grabbing you by your shirt, and you will be pulled into the future if you know what it is you want. And in those moments of boredom, you'll say to yourself, in order to get there, I gotta do the boring stuff. So do the boring stuff if you want to be successful. And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. On this one, definitely leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. I want to know what you think. In fact, give me an example. Leave an example of when you were bored and you decided to do something else. Or when you were bored and what strategy did you use to get past your boredom? I'd love to learn from you. Also, as you know, check out my Sales Velocity Academy when you get a chance. Again, new videos every month, great content if you want to sell more faster. And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Again, this is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.